This is a trigger warning. And a brief note, we will be discussing our personal journey through stillbirth. If this is something that you may find triggering, I ask that you log off this broadcast. Bring an Angel Mommy has been compared to being inducted into a club that you never sought admission. Each month, join your hosts, LaTisha and myself, Carissa, as we discuss the many facets of our stillbirth journey. From trying to survive to ensuring we are thriving, this journey can be rough. We are not mental health professionals, but we know that stillbirth touches every area of life. And in these broadcasts, we will discuss our journey through each. From money and relationships to rainbow babies and insensitive comments, we are laying our journey bare, hoping something from our lives will give you hope or direction. Before we get started, I do ask that you share this with someone. It may be a conversation starter for someone who is struggling or someone who just doesn't know what to say. We are taking each topic that touched our lives about stillbirth one at a time. And we're doing it this way because often when stillbirth is discussed, it's a one time conversation and a bunch of facts and dates are thrown out. Or even when someone tells their story of how they gave birth to a stillbirth angel, we don't get to see how that person journeyed through the rest of their life and the changes that came afterward. We want to bring awareness to how stillbirth and miscarriage shifted our lives and how we learned to adapt and thrive after that loss. As always, if you have any questions, please DM us at Walk With My Angel on Facebook or A Walk With My Angel on Instagram. You can email us at awalkwithmyangel@gmail.com. Okay, now let's get to the episode. So, hi, ma'am.
Hi.
How has these past few months been for you? I know we've been gone for a while.
It's it's been kind of crazy these last few months with uh school starting back with COVID. My husband and I both had a few deaths in both of our sides of the family, so it's been a kind of tough these last few months.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I didn't know that. But
Yeah.
yeah. So, if you could, please, can you reintroduce yourself to us?
Hi, I'm LaTisha Banks, co-founder of A Walk with My Angel. My angel baby, her name is Lakira Banks. She was born on January the 19th, 2011. She was born sleeping at 37 weeks.
So, can you tell us about Lakira, please?
So the day that I went to the doctor for my regular checkup, we did a sonogram, and that's when the doctor told me that she didn't have a heartbeat. We went from the doctor's office over to the hospital, and I had to have my C-section, and we went through the whole process of her birth just as if she was alive. The doctor came in. She, after the delivery, explained what happened, and then she let her spend time in the room with us, so we were able to take pictures and everything.
How did you and your spouse decide to tell the rest of your family that Lakira had passed?
Well, the doctor actually called my mom, and then my mom told my family. I actually called my husband, and then he came to the hospital, and then it went from there.
I know for some people this is different. So, for you personally, is it helpful for you when people bring up your loss, or would you rather avoid discussing it altogether?
In the beginning, it was kind of hard to talk about, but as time went on and over the years, it became easier to talk about. So now I don't mind when people want to talk or ask questions. I don't mind talking about it.
Are you comfortable when people ask questions about your experience?
Yes, I'm comfortable with it now. I mean, if this would have been 10 years ago, no, but
Hmm.
now I'm comfortable with it.
I know it's definitely different across a broad group of people.
I don't even think it's so much change. I think with like the some of the people that I know that may be going through like similar situations or having a past, it kind of brought them where we may not have been close before,
Hmm.
where we're able to talk, and I've built relationships from this more
Yeah, I
so.
like that. I see that. I know it's different for different people, but what would be most meaningful for you, for friends and family to do to remember your child's birthday or the anniversary of their death?
So I think my family, as well as my husband, everyone remembers. No one let her memory die.
That's good.
My From the kids to just it's an open discussion around
Hmm.
my family.
I like that. That's really good. My kids are like
Mhm.
that too. They they talk about their big brother a lot.
Yeah, see, and even though LB wasn't born, he still knows that he has a sister. He still asks, he asks questions. It's a part of the conversation. It's not like it like we don't discuss it.
Hmm.
We're very open about everything.
So, when she passed, were there any gifts given to you or your family after the loss that stood out to you the most? And why was it so important?
I received, like, a lot of the sympathy cards that
Hmm.
was given during that time. I still have the sympathy cards from from people whenever they was during the loss, whenever they was given. There, I had a plant, but eventually it died because I'm just horrible at
Yeah, me
keeping
too.
plants and animals.
Random.
So there was a plant that I did have, but as far as like the cards, I still have those cards and letters. So and I had quite a few. So at
Hmm.
times I could go back and read them and look at some of the cards sometimes.
So, how has your beliefs about God and the world changed or deepened through your experience?
I think it deepened through my experience. I really, really, it was like I seen death in a different way because it never
Hmm.
was that close and up in person for me. So it was just a whole new outlook on life when that happened. Um, my relationship with God became stronger.
Hmm.
Um, my faith, my walk, everything changed when that happened.
So, here's a kind of a tough question. During the process of when Lakira first passed away, did you deal with any anger or resentment toward God?
I don't I don't think I had like my anger wasn't towards God. It was more towards people. It was just like I would blame myself, or if it was just like everything like that anybody said. If it didn't, nothing no one said made me feel better. So it was like it
Yeah.
was always the opposite. I was I was more offended by a lot of things that people said than and
Hmm.
at now looking back that they just probably didn't know, and I know that they didn't mean to be offensive,
Hmm.
you know. But at that time, we're going through that process. I think it was more of the anger towards people. I don't think I was so much as angry in that situation towards God. And plus, with my family, um, I had a lot of aunts and uncles who would and my mom that would they have a personal relationship with God, so they knew how to pray for me and
Hmm.
send scriptures and stuff. So I don't think it was just. I think I was more angry with people than anything.
Hmm. What which comforting phrases were the ones that really got on your nerves the most, or that did more harm than good, or what comforting phrase do you think people should just skip over altogether?
I think the whole asking after you have the loss like that, I was asking if you want another baby. Like that
Mm,
whole thing,
girl.
uh, that just that's I don't think that's something that you just really want to ask someone after they have a loss, because it's a lot of pieces that need to be put back together. Now, some people, they may think, like right away, oh, I want to go right back into this and have another baby, and sometimes it takes other people longer than others. So it's just it's a it's both mentally and physically.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to heal both ways.
Right.
So that's why that question right there is asking someone about having a baby right after a loss. If that's a tough one.
What is something that you wish you would have known before you had a stillbirth?
I wish I would have known that there was other people out there who experienced it,
Mm-hmm.
and that there was a support system. Like I said, I have, one friend that had been through it that I knew of. But after it happened, of course, I learned of more people. But at that time, when dealing with the situation, there was only one person that came across my mind to call. So just people being able to know that it's other people out there that's experiencing it, so you don't have to feel alone. Because I think that during that time when it happened, I felt like it was just me,
Yeah,
and that I was just out here alone dealing with it.
I get that feeling. So, what were the conversations like with people or coworkers or friends or family members who were about to have a baby or got pregnant shortly after your loss? What were those conversations like? Were they comfortable? Were they uncomfortable? Were they timid around you? What were those instances like?
I think a lot of times people they didn't know whether or not if they should share or not. Like if someone was pregnant, they didn't know whether to if they should share the news or not, or thinking how am I going to feel about it. So I got that a lot, where people really wouldn't talk about it.
Um, After your loss, what were your feelings about having another baby?
I think once I got over the initial loss, um, is when I wanted another baby, because initially I was thinking after I had heard that I was going to be done.
Hmm.
And I wanted another baby. I didn't want to be just have one kid and that was
Hmm.
it. I did want another baby. It was all in the process of as to when would be a good time to have another baby. Was I going to be mentally and physically ready for it?
And how long did it take you to either toss the idea around or come up with a time frame for when you will be ready to have another baby?
I think her and LB is 2 years apart.
Hmm.
So it was, I guess, probably, I would probably say like maybe after about a year.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
that's when we started back talking and considering it.
So looking back, how has your relationship with your spouse changed?
I think it brought us closer, because we had each other that we had to depend on. Like we was here every day with each other, so we the ones that seeing each other go through it. And
Looking
so
at
yeah. So that brought us closer together.
so is there an instance that you can remember that after however long it was, even if you don't remember the length of time, that's fine. But when was a moment that you realized when you thought about your child that you didn't feel that gaping wound anymore?
I think the more I talked about it is when it started to be where I could talk without crying, or she
Hmm.
can be mentioned without me feeling just like it take my breath away.
Yeah.
Because I would say it probably took at least, let's say maybe at least probably at least 5 years.
And that's okay. That is absolutely okay. I think some people rush those moments. Like
Mm-hmm.
they want to hurry up and get to whenever I think of my baby or whenever I think of the person that passed away, it doesn't hurt as much and they want to rush to that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of steps that
Yeah.
come in before that feeling. And even still, some things will still remind you. So, are there any things that happen that other people would think it's a regular occurrence or a regular way of behaving that reminds you of being pregnant or remind you of Lakira?
I think like certain I don't know, like it when I always like at the end of when people are pregnant, at the end of pregnancy, it always makes no matter even just I can see a celebrity, and when it's
Mm-hmm.
at the end of their pregnancy, it's like I can feel like this nervous feeling
Mm-hmm.
that comes over me.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's that's just that constant reminder. Like whenever I see somebody pregnant and it's at the end of their pregnancy, that's when I get nervous. It's not even so much like at the beginning of the
Mm-hmm.
pregnancy. It's always like the end of the pregnancy for me.
What is something that you would tell a mom who is carrying a baby that might be nervous right now?
Um, Pray. That's
Mm-hmm.
all I can think about is just just pray for a healthy baby. Pray for peace,
Mm-hmm.
understanding
Yeah.
through the whole process, and especially and I probably so in a lot of moms when it gets down you're already anxious, and I think that's what like I'm going when I went for my doctor's appointment that day that
Mm-hmm.
I found out is like I was done, I was over it, I was ready to have this baby, so you're already anxious,
Mm-hmm.
so just be patient and just take it one day at a time.
I like that. What is something that you would like a mother who has recently lost a child? What would something that you would like them to know?
That they're not alone, that
Mm-hmm.
it's probably more women out there than they think have
Mm-hmm.
experienced it. A lot of people don't talk about it. A lot of people, after it happens, and they move on and have another baby. Some people it may go into the back of their minds where they just don't discuss it at all. Um, but they need to know that they're not alone. It's still people out there that's grieving with it, even if they haven't talked, even if they don't talk about it. No matter how many years it has went by.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high. Even if the sky is falling down.